Hello, welcome to my channel, another Bibliophile Reads. My name is Greg. This morning, I drove out of town. I live in a part of Virginia where there's not a whole lot of used bookstores. So I drove a little further north, a little over an hour, to where there's a pretty big used bookstore. I don't get there that often, maybe once, maybe twice a year. And so I got my little basket and I started filling that basket up with books. I spent $52.22. In the long run, that's really not a whole lot of money, but there's a whole lot of paperbacks next to me. And I don't know when I'm ever going to read some of them. Now, some of them I'm definitely going to read pretty soon. So this is what I bought today. Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. This was only $2.99. This copy looks like it has never been read, so I'm presuming the student that originally owned this probably didn't get a good grade in whatever class that was assigned in. Now, I have never read Catcher in the Rye. I always assumed that it'd be too old, but recently I was listening to Alan at Big Hard Books and Classics and Bad and Rad too, who Buddy read this early last month, and it convinced me I should probably read Catcher in the Rye someday. And at $2.99, I said, oh yeah, I'll get it. Now, I have two books I'm going to show you. These are going to be for a super secret project that you will learn about later this month or next month. The first is Fateless by Emir Karetsis. It's Hungarian. No way I'm going to pronounce it in Hungarian name correctly. But this is about a young boy during World War II who gets rounded up to be sent to one of the Holocaust camps. Oh, this author also won the Nobel Prize in Literature. I picked up The Last Temptation of Christ by Nikos Kazantzakis. It's Greek. I'm not going to be able to pronounce Greek correctly. And this is the story of Christ, told by a man of faith, apparently, who wanted to explore the humanity in Jesus. And it is the story of him being tempted. And I read this in the early 90s. I don't know, or I don't remember a whole lot about that, but it is, again, for my super secret project that is going to be coming up soon. Now, here's a book that I have read at least 5 times before. I don't own a paperback of this. I have a Kindle edition and an audio edition, and I have to say that the Kindle edition is formatted really badly. They didn't pay the person who formatted that enough. So I just decided to go up and get an old paperback for myself. And this is an almost new, like new. Has a little bit of a stain over there, but does not look like it has been read. And this is, again, $1.99. So probably my favorite novel of all time. Albert Camus' The Stranger, that's a close second. Or maybe that's in first and this is in second. Who knows? Now, these I picked up. I have way too many of these books already. But they were cheap. And these are the Lone Star books. These are the naughty westerns. And this is the offshoot of the Long Arm series, where you have the female cowboy or cowgirl and her partner, who is not a sexual partner, but a bodyguard. He is a martial arts expert. And they go out in the Old West, and each one of them gets laid a lot. And who can't lie? Who could dislike that? So the reason I picked these up is because these are kind of harder to find. This is book 2 in the series. And you usually don't find books this low in the number of series. You usually find them like in the 40s or 200s or 400s, something like that. I got book 2, which is Lone Star and the Opium Rustlers. Here's the guy having a kung fu fight with another Asian man over opium, maybe. Number 3, Lone Star and the Border Bandits. She's looking like it. She's really enjoying him. Oh man, this one's fun. This is a good cover. This is Lone Star and the Kansas Wolves. Oh man, she's not wearing a stitch, is she? Nope. Lone Star and the Utah Kid. Well, here she's wearing something, but he's not wearing something. One for the ladies and one for the gentlemen. About a week or two ago, I did a tag on Stephen King books. I have read The Dead Zone when it was brand new in hardcover. I have not read it since. And that tag made me go looking for Stephen King books. I was actually looking for Mr. Mercedes, which they did not have, but they had this older edition of The Dead Zone for under $3. And I said, okay, I'll pick that up. They had some of his newer books and newer paperbacks, but I just love the old paperbacks. They have a nice feel to them, and much more so than newer paperbacks. And I definitely want to read his older books. And I remember Michael K. Vaughan saying he was surprised about how good this book was. So I'll revisit this sometime. Now here's another book that I've read before, and I unhauled it, unfortunately. And this is The Fog by James Herbert. There is a cow scene, which is supposed to be unforgettable. I can't remember it. But it's a horror book I've been looking for. This is a British edition. The cover, yeah, there are better covers out there, but it's still a good book. And this is about a fog rolling around the countryside of England. And if you get into this fog, you go mad. My Lord Barbarian by Andrew J. Offutt. This is a fantasy book. I think it's a very pulpy fantasy book. I have not read anything by Andrew J. Offutt. I have read his son's memoir about his father, and his father was also a pornographer. So I'm picking up Andrew Offutt's books as I see them. And this one was only 75 cents. Can't lose. The Black Corridor by Michael Moorcock. This is a science fiction novel. I read this in high school in the 80s, and I remember reading this in one night. It is the story of a man on a spaceship, which is carrying a lot of sleepers in cryogenic sleep, And he's supposed to be the man on the spaceship taking care of all the sleepers. He's the only one on the spaceship. And he goes slowly mad in space as he's completely alone. Michael Moorcock, The City of the Beast. This is his homage to Edgar Rice Burroughs. This is a man who's transported to Mars as an adventurer. I read it in high school. I don't remember anything about it, but it's this really neat old paperback. This is like from the 60s, and look at this. The sides are colored purple. Purple edge book. Science fiction, Mars. And, the cover's okay. It's not the best cover, but that's fun. The Alley God by Philip Jose Farmer. This is another original paperback from the 60s. It was only 99 cents. And it was in with the Westerns. For whatever reason, someone misfiled it, and I was looking at the Westerns, and I saw this. I said, ooh, wonder that's good. Philip Jose Farmer. He's a very famous science fiction author. I don't know anything about this. I'm all set for Garbogist next year. This is Embryo. It is by Louis Charbonneau. This is a novelization of the movie. And in Garbogist, we're going to have to read a novelization. And a little expensive, $2.49, but I don't have that many novelizations, so I picked that up. Now, here's a series of books. I don't know why I picked these up. Lynn Carter. Michael K. Vaughan often says Lynn Carter, not the best author in the world, but he's a very famous author and a very prolific author. And these are The Warrior of World's End. First book in the Gondwain epic. And we have The Enchantress of World's End. The Immortal of World's End. The Barbarian of World's End. And The Pirate of World's End. Now, you're going to have to ask yourself, why did I buy a bunch of paperbacks from a series that I've never read before, never heard of before, whose author, doesn't always get high praises? Well, they're cheap. This one was $105. This was 99 cents. 99 cents. 99 cents. And look at this. Their condition is near perfect. I don't think anyone has ever read these books before. I think they've been sitting on someone's shelves for decades, and that person probably moved or passed away, and they hit the used bookstore shelf, and I snagged them. Now, the question is, are they going to sit on my shelf unread until I pass away? And then they go to the next sucker who's going to pick them up and say, ooh, look at these old paperbacks. They've never been read. Maybe so. And some more Michael Moorcock. This is The Silver Warriors. This is the Eternal Champion. This is sort of an offshoot of all his Elric and Hawkmoon series and Coram series. And this is where I believe the Eternal Champion knows he's the Eternal Champion. In Elric and Hawkmoon, they don't know they're a manifestation of the Eternal Champion. And if you don't know what that is, in the Moorcock universe, is that all champions in different, there are champions in every universe. Elric lives in one universe. Hawkmoon lives in a different universe. But sometimes they cross over because they're a manifestation of the same being to be a champion in their own universe. And in this one, if I remember, again, I read in high school, the champion knows that he's the Eternal Champion, that he's the manifestation of all other heroes. I also bought this Michael Moorcock book, The Champion of Garbledy. I'm not going to pronounce this. This one I probably should not have picked up. I thought this was like a third in this series, but this is actually the volume 2 in the Chronicles of Count Brass. The Chronicles of Count Brass is a follow-up to his Hawkmoon series, and I don't have book 1. I'll have to search it out now. But look at these. Again, they have these lovely green coloring on the spines. I love it when you have coloring spines on books. Just fantastic. And that's what I spent $52.22 on. I really have to make an effort to read some of these pretty soon. I have this thing called a 100-book challenge coming up next month. Got to sneak 1 or 2 of these onto that challenge. Well, anyway, thank you for watching, and keep on reading.